Thank you, Kevin Barber. Welcome into the first of two streams that we do here at Pugs and Company. This is the high noon edition. We do a pillow talk edition, which comes at 9 o'clock Central Time. Now I'm thrown. I did such a flawless intro, and then I forgot to turn my mic on. That's my bad. I apologize for that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, April. All right. Once again, like I was saying, 2 streams a day, the high noon stream right here. This serves a purpose. This is about current events. This is about trending topics. This is about all the things that people are talking about. I don't want you out there not knowing what's happening. So tune into this each and every day, and I'll try and get you all prepped up. The Pillow Talk Show, which, as I said, but my mic wasn't on, we are tweaking that as we go. The Pillow Talk Show starts at 9 o'clock. We promise you an hour a night, maybe more. Last night it was like an hour and 40 minutes. The night before, I promised you an hour. You got 2 hours. We've also tweaked the name of that. When James Parker joins on that, it is then to be known as the Pugs and Parker Pillow Talk edition. I just look at me being magnanimous. Look at me. Oh, you're such a guy. I know. Well, he is giving of his time, and he is a professional broadcaster in his own right, certainly more than I am these days. So why not give him the credit of sharing the title with the show? So I don't even know if he wants it. I mean, he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm like, okay, good. Glad you like it. All right, let's get started with all the things that are happening today in the world. You know, it's a weird day because it started out, I spent the first 45 minutes of my prep this morning going, God, it's another one of these days where there is absolutely nothing. And then stuff started happening. Then stuff started coming. This is not a good look. This is not a good look. Oh, in the hat, I had to shave my head today. And I wear the hat right after I shave. So should you see me wearing a cap like this, you know, it means that I've recently shaved my head and I've got some razor burn and all that. And so I put a little lotion on it and I put the hat on, and you know, we'll debut the new shaved head maybe tonight. Today is the 13th of January. It is the 13th day of the year. 352 days remain until the end of the year. So there, you know, if you're keeping track like me, I do it every day. What happened on this day? Which is what we like to start out each and every show. We like to tell you why today is, you know, an important day, or just remind you of good or bad stuff that went down on this day in history. On this day in 1910, hey, happy birthday radio. On this day in 1910, the very first public airing of a radio broadcast took place. It was a live performance of the operas Cavalleria Rusticanica and Pagliacci. I can pronounce Pagliacci because I'm not a complete illiterate. It's just the first two. Cavalleria Rusticana. I'm not sure if I got that right. Pagliacci, I got right. It's sent out over the airwaves from Metropolitan Opera House in New York City on this day in 1910. The very first time. I don't know who had radios, you know, like who went out and bought a radio and went, well, someday something's going to come through this thing. So, you know, on this day in 1968, boy, this is a big day in music. This is Pugs, what do you mean a big day in music? Was this the day Thriller was released? No, it's not like that. But just as far as like a thing that occurred in music that sort of, well, I'll give you one example. On this day in 1968, Johnny Cash performed live at Folsom State Prison. The Folsom Prison Blues album, I believe is what it was called. Johnny was a bit of a dirtbag at times in his life. And Johnny had a lot of sympathy for his convicted and incarcerated brethren. And so he did a concert there in Folsom. And interesting because there was one person in the audience, one inmate in the audience, who was truly inspired by what he saw by Johnny Cash. And that was, I believe, Merle Haggard. I believe it was Merle Haggard who was in the audience there, incarcerated for a time, and saw Johnny Cash come to the prison and went, I could do that. I could totally do that. So on this day in 1968, the Folsom State Prison concert performed by Johnny Cash went down. On this day in 2018, but you remember this? I remember this. This was funny. This was during the whole North Korea's got missiles stuff. Oh my God, we're all on alert. North Korea might have a missile that can reach the west coast of the United States. Well, on this day in 2018, a false emergency alert warning of an impending missile strike was released accidentally. That's why it was false. In Hawaii, causing the entire state to freak out. I don't know if you remember. I remember everybody had to apologize. And we were just doing a testing of the system and we didn't know it was live and we hit the button. And before you know it, everybody staying in a fancy hotel in, Kauai or Maui or whatever was like, we're all going to die. That's got to be pretty scary. And then nothing happened and turned out to be a mistake and everybody apologized. On this day, 1 year ago today, outgoing President Donald Trump is impeached for the second time on a charge of incitement of insurrection following the storming of the Capitol 1 week prior. Impeachment, you'd like to think that impeachment is a big deal, but apparently it's not anymore. Being impeached means absolutely nothing. Let's see what else means absolutely nothing. Being subpoenaed now by Congress. They used to, mob bosses used to accept subpoenas or requests from Congress to come talk to them. Nobody denied. That was supposed to be, well, you can't do that. Boy, they want to see you. You better go, because if you don't go, they're going to do all kinds of terrible things to you. Well, here we are in 2022, and we're finding out, they don't really do anything. It's a toothless. That was just a big load of bull crap. So for you for you citizens out there, should the United States Congress ever subpoena you, just say no. I ain't going. Let's see what you got. How far are you willing to push this? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't suggest you do that, because we little people, we get the brunt. We get the brunt of the bat right across the jaw. It's the well-connected people who can lawyer up and get the good lawyers and drag that shit out who are protected, but not us, not the little people. We get shit on left and right. We have to do everything we're told. They say jump, we say how high. Look at you, Pugs, getting political. That wasn't political. That was more social. There was nothing red or blue about that statement. That statement was purple down the middle. Plane crashes. We didn't have any plane crashes yesterday. I thought that was a pretty safe day. Today, we got a couple. 1977, Japan Airlines Flight 1045, Douglas DC-8 jet crashed on the runway during takeoff from Anchorage International Airport, killing 5 people. So there you go. Not a good day for that. But also, in 1982, now this is one I remember. This is one I vividly remember. 1982, I was at boarding school. I got sent away. I got sent away for being a little jackass. I learned my lesson, though. Never got in a whole lot of trouble. God, I like to say that. I don't want to say that because I did get in trouble. I had a couple of good years where I towed the line, where I was a good citizen child. And then all hell went, then I discovered alcohol. And I decided I was the life of the party. And then, stuff changes. But on this day in 1982, shortly after takeoff, Air Florida Flight 90, a Boeing 737 jet, crashes into Washington, D.C.'s 14th Street Bridge and falls into the Potomac River, the icy Potomac River, killing 78 people, including 4 motorists who were driving on the bridge. Now, I remember this. Like I said, but for some reason, I don't know why I thought it was on a Sunday evening. But it wasn't. It was a Wednesday, apparently, or maybe a Tuesday night into a Wednesday. I remember laying in bed in my dorm room, listening to my radio on these big, clunky, old 1980s headphones. And actually, you know what it was? I remember exactly what it was. Do you remember the headphones that had a radio built into it? So it was like headphones, and then there was like an antenna that came out, and you could tune in the radio on the headphones. It was pre-Walkman, probably about a year or two before the Walkman came out. And I remember laying in my bed and I was listening to, I want to say it was probably Larry King Live. And I remember a news break came in reporting this plane crash, and then they bailed away. This was back when, radio was live at night and they could actually cover real events. They don't do that anymore. No money in it. There's no money in paying somebody $10 an hour to be, and that's pretty much what they'd pay now. Paying somebody that amount of money to just, be on call in case something big happens. But back then they did. And I remember they broke away from Larry King with this like ongoing news story about this passenger jet that, struggled on takeoff from Washington and then just barreled into it. Didn't barrel, that's probably it barreled into the Potomac, the icy frozen Potomac River. But it hit the bridge. Like, I remember thinking they were talking about cars were strewn all over the place. Cars were on fire and people were in the water and people were screaming in the frozen water, and they had to pluck survivors out of like the frozen Potomac. Oh my God. I didn't get much sleep that night. I listened to it all night long. What a horrible thing that was. That happened on this day. I suppose if you're thinking about can you survive a crash, you would want it to be something like that. I mean, they landed in water, but the water was icy. They weren't 30,000 feet. They didn't drop from 30,000 feet. That ensures that everybody disintegrates. There's no survivors there. But man, plane crash, you're freaked out, and then you find yourself in icy water. I mean, realize it was unnaturally cold that January in Washington, D.C. So, that happened on this day in 1982. Also, something we talked about yesterday, because there was some, again, time zones and time changes, and what day was it there and what day was it here? Did this happen close to midnight or whatever it was? On this day in 2012, the passenger cruise ship, the Costa Concordia, sinks off the coast of Italy due to the captain, Francesco Schettino, his negligence and irresponsibility. There are 32 confirmed deaths. Now, I remember a piece of audio that we used to play from back then. We got a piece of audio from, I don't know, it became a rallying cry on our old show. Whenever somebody wasn't doing anything properly, we would yell, "Schettino, get back in the boat!" And that was something that was heard over the radio. The captain, who was he had this big giant cruise ship, and people were on the cruise ship, and he if I remember correctly, he was attempting to get close to shore to see something. Like there was something going on the shore. So and it wasn't like for safety reasons, or it was just because, he was curious. It was just, there seems to be a big party going on over there. Let's see if we can get a better look. So they brought the boat too close to the shore, and it hit some rocks, and then it tipped over, and everybody got thrown in the water. And like the first guy to abandon ship was Captain Schettino. And there were calls to the shore in the radio traffic, and one of the guys on the radio traffic was screaming at the captain, "Schettino, get back in the boat! Schettino, get back in the boat!" Like Schettino and apparently he took one of the lifeboats with just him and a buddy. Like he didn't put anybody else in the boat. He was just like, "Holy shit, I'm out of here." And he just, so, the old thing, the captain goes down with the ship. That's garbage. That's like just about everything else, every other truism that we've heard over the years. It turns out to just be, just absolute, a good rule of thumb, but absolute garbage. Schettino was convicted. He went to prison. I don't know if he's still in prison. I don't know how many years he got for, negligence in the deaths of 32 people. But those pictures too, I remember those pictures. You can look at them now. Just like Google Costa Concordia, and it's just a giant sideways. Like it looked like it was real shallow water because the boat didn't completely sink. It was just flipped over on its side. So it looked very bizarre. Anyway, on this day in 2012, the passenger cruise ship Costa Concordia sank because Schettino got out of the boat. Schettino, get back in the boat. Schettino. So still to this day, I can find myself saying that every once in a while when somebody does something wrong. I'll go, "Schettino, get back in the boat." I use that most commonly with my kid. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. "Schettino, get back in the boat." "What, Dad?" Never mind. Okay, birthdays on this day. We got some good birthdays. That's always nice. Celebrating a birthday today, born in 1961. A national treasure by my estimation, and I believe everybody else's. And I'll go on to say, pound for pound, I think the greatest television TV actress of all time. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I don't know if greatest, most accomplished, the most interesting. And of course, we're talking about Julie Louis Dreyfus. Julie Louis Dreyfus was born on this day in 1961. Who doesn't love JLD? If you don't love JLD, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to see you. She is just Elaine Bennis. But even before Elaine Bennis, Saturday Night Live. Then she did, I think she was on that show Step by Step or something. She was on some other sitcom for like a bunch of years where she played the wacky neighbor. And then she got a bigger role with Seinfeld where she played Elaine Bennis. I mean, that's one of the great female roles in television history, Elaine Bennis. Who's better than Elaine Bennis? Name somebody better than Elaine Bennis. You can't. And then after that, oh my God, she also National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's not TV, Pugs. I know, but she's done some other stuff. I'm saying she's a national treasure is what I'm trying to say. And then, just when you think she's done, she doesn't need anymore, Veep on HBO. One of the funniest, funnier. Veep is funnier than Seinfeld. I didn't say it was better than Seinfeld. Seinfeld had a cultural impact that cannot be measured. Veep, however, was just crazy funny. If you've never seen Veep, it's waiting for you. It's out there on HBO Max. It's out there on HBO. You can binge watch all the seasons. Veep was just so fun. She played the vice president of the United States, who was terrible. She's just a terrible, terrible person. Just a political animal. Didn't care about anything. I mean, and I remember watching Veep and going, well, this is funny, but this could never happen. And then, the last 5 years, we've been seeing people who are exactly like Selena Meyer. That was her name in the character in the show. Exactly like Selena Meyer, just revealed to be unconscionable political animals with no moral center, no nothing, but very funny. Also, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a fun fact. People may not know this about her. She's one of the wealthiest people in Hollywood. Pugs, how can that be? She's only done TV shows. Well, she's got Seinfeld money. That's pretty good. Seinfeld money's pretty good. But still, that's only like maybe 100 million or something. What else she got, Pugs? That wouldn't make her the wealthiest person in Hollywood. No, it wouldn't. But she also got Veep money. That's HBO. That show was successful, but what's that? Another 20, 30 million maybe she got from that? Yeah, she did. But her last name is Dreyfus. She's the daughter of a billionaire. She grew up the daughter of the guy who founded the Dreyfus Fund, which is like a massive investment bank. I mean, been around for years. And it's one of the old school ones. Her family, the Dreyfus family, are just filthy, filthy rich. And you know what? I don't begrudge her. Because she seems so cool. She seems so totally grounded. She doesn't seem like she's not running around like Paris Hilton. She could have been a struggling actress for like 50 years and still lived in a Malibu beach house and had another place in New York. She was born wealthy, and she doesn't really show it. She seems like a pretty cool girl. That's why I like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Boy, Brad Hall, her husband, he married up, didn't he? Brad Hall, Brad Hall's a writer. Limited success, interesting guy. He was on Saturday Night Live with her. They met on Saturday Night Live. Not one of the great Saturday Night Live performers, just kind of a guy who, oh yeah, I think I remember that guy. Not even particularly handsome, tall, thin. But what do I know about handsome? I don't know about handsome anymore because we're going to talk about Machine Gun Kelly today. And I'm sorry. The Pete Davidson stuff. You got K-pop guys who look like 13-year-old girls who are apparently handsome by today's standards. I have no idea. So maybe Julie Louis-Dreyfus saw a little thing. Maybe she saw something in it, maybe something special. But he married her, and they've been together like 30 years. Why would you divorce her? Why? And besides, she gets a divorce. I'm sure she's going to have to pay out some of that big cash that she's got. But no, they seem very happy. They seem happy. They seem loving. They seem like a great Hollywood couple. But he definitely married up. Brad Hall landing Julie Louis-Dreyfus, the billionaire daughter, who's also beautiful, who's also talented, who's also funny, and who's also, by every estimation, a really cool person. So there you go. Happy birthday, JLD, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, born on this day in 1961. Also born on this day, Trace Adkins, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He was born in 1962 on this day. Born in 1964 on this day, an actress who just vanished. An actress who was famous for like 3 or 4 years and then just vanished. Talking about Penelope Ann Miller. I love that name, Penelope. If I was to have a daughter, I always wanted her to be named Penelope. I love that name. It's so lyrical. Penelope. Yeah, I know. Jennifer, I said it. She was she played the yuppie awful neighbors in Christmas Vacation. She was very funny. Everything she does, does rock. I agree with you, JB. We're talking about JLD. I'm talking with JBM. JBM and me talking about JLD. Born on this day in 1966, Patrick Dempsey. He was another guy who was a big actor in the 1980s. Did a lot of teen movies, teen romance movies, and then did nothing for a stretch of time, and then came back bigger than ever. Grey's Anatomy, was it? I think. I don't know. I've never seen Grey's Anatomy. I just know that he's... was he Dr. McHottie? Was that him? Did he like reinvent himself as like a handsome grown man? Happy birthday, Patrick Dempsey. Born on this day in 1966. Born on this day in 1972, Nicole Eggert. Charles in Charge, Nicole Eggert. Boy, was she a thing. But boy, was she a thing for my 17, 18, 19-year-old loins. She was like if Heather Locklear back in that time had a little sister. That's who Nicole Eggert was. I don't think you know what I remember. Then she got heavy. I remember people a couple of years. Not that that's a big deal. She's still a beautiful woman, but I remember a couple of years ago some pictures going around of her that said Nicole Eggert has totally lost it. And I'm like, I don't know. She looks like a really good-looking mom. I mean, she's not. She's still Nicole Eggert. She's still beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if she slimmed down, but I remember she took a lot of heat a few years back for gaining some weight. But again, she's still Nicole Eggert. She's still gorgeous. I mean, okay, so she's a little bit heavy. Come on. No, yes, guess what? You don't get to stay with the body you had at 17 your whole life. You don't. And by the way, it's not pervy of me to say that because I was also a teenager. I was able, I was allowed to be attracted to her. I was a teenager then. Born on this day in 1975, Andrew Yang, American entrepreneur and founder of Venture for America. He was also ran for president in 2020, then flirted with running for mayor of New York until he found out that absolutely nobody was going to vote for him. I don't know why. Andrew Yang is an interesting guy, politically speaking. He seems to be somebody he's an outsider candidate. He ran with the Democrats because he's got some socially progressive views, most notably universal income, which that's going to happen. I mean, I may not be here for it, but actually, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next 10 years because you don't double back on something like that. Universal income is the idea that, the country, there's such a great wealth divide in this country that we, the actual citizens, deserve some. We can't even get health care, though. I mean, we can't even, every other civilized country in the world. Here's the problem with this country. Oh, really, Pugs? You're going to break it down for us? You're going to give us the problem? We're the only country in the world that looks to turn a profit from the illness of our citizens, the education of our citizens, and the incarceration of our citizens. We have these we have these corporate prisons. And over the years, we have made these rules. The drug laws were designed specifically for these corporate prisons so that you could keep building these prisons, and they needed people in the prisons. So you started coming up with these trumped up. We incarcerate, of the civilized nations, we incarcerate more frequently and more of our citizens than anyone else because we make money off our prisons. We've figured that's probably changing. Hopefully, there's a whole lot of people who are talking about this issue now, and the incarceration rates are embarrassing for this country. So maybe that's changing. But we make a profit off of our prisons, and then if our students want to go to college, we have figured out a way to make a profit off of our citizens wanting to be educated. Every other country in the world, every other civilized, modern thinking country in the world knows that it's in the benefit. It is to the benefit of the nation itself to have an educated populace. But we went, yeah, but we can make some money, or at least the 1% can make some money off of that. So there we go. We do that. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, healthcare. Everybody else knows that it's important for their citizenry to be healthy and cared for and taken care of. And as the greatest country in the world, you would think that it would be a birthright that because we make all of this money as a country, because all of this money is generated from our power and our influence and our just natural resources, we should probably take care of our citizens, but we don't. We figured out how to turn guys who run insurance companies into billionaires. And, I guess that's what we like. Pugs, what are you talking about? You sound like a communist. No, I don't sound like a communist. I sound like somebody from, I don't know, France. I sound like somebody from the UK, somebody from Canada. I mean, we have the wealthiest doctors in the world, and we have the wealthiest insurance agents in the world. I don't know, that's a good thing because it comes at the expense of the average person. So we've got an uneducated, sickly, and on their way to prison population. That's pretty much how it runs here. And Andrew Yang, those were all big issues for him. So happy birthday, Andrew Yang. Orlando Bloom. Orlando Bloom is celebrating a birthday today, born on this day in 1977. I don't really know who Orlando Bloom is. I don't. If I saw, I don't know the difference between Orlando Bloom and a Hugh Jackman. I think they're like, if you showed me a picture, so I think I would know Hugh Jackman because he has distinguished himself as Wolverine. But aren't they both like handsome British guys who are also like song and dance guys? Although now that I'm working this through in my head, isn't Orlando Bloom sort of a less macho Hugh Jackman? Is that it? Like, isn't Orlando Bloom sort of thin and, wispy, not really as masculine and manly? Hugh Jackman is like he's Wolverine. He's super masculine. He's super badass, but he's also a song and a dance man. He's also, come on. He's like, which is kind of weird, but okay, that's fine. Those two things. Hey, you don't have to just be one thing. But isn't Orlando Bloom that too? I don't know who Orlando Bloom is. You know how I know who Orlando Bloom is? Because he seems to have a lot of famous girlfriends. That's pretty much it. But I've never seen an Orlando Bloom movie. I don't think. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Thank you, Leslie. Doesn't matter. Same thing. Hugh is an Aussie. Bloom is British. Same thing. Same thing. They're not Americans. They ain't Texans. I'll give you that. They're foreigners. And I make no distinction between those. Okay, so Orlando Bloom, I'm guessing, was Elf in Lord of the Rings. Full disclosure. Never seen any of the Hobbit movies. And I'll tell you why. When I was in grade school, we went on a field trip to see The Hobbit, which was a play and I was probably like 10 years old. And field trips are great. You love field trips. But I got about 20 minutes into this play and I was so bored. It was such a brutal play. It was... The only thing cool was that it was at one of these theaters that was a theater in the round. You remember, what these things are? They were theaters that used to exist that people used to go to where they do a stage play, but the stage rotated. It's so that no matter where you were sitting at some point, you could see them. And I remember thinking that was kind of interesting. But man, so I have this mental block in my head that I just cannot possibly sit through another Hobbit movie or another. So I'm sorry. He is hot. Yeah. Well, all movie stars are hot. I think that's probably one of the criteria that goes into them getting cast. He's got a lot of hot girlfriends too, right? Like Katy Perry and, he's got a lot of them. I can't think of them at the moment. But happy birthday, Orlando Bloom. Hey, here's another hot guy and another guy who I don't know who he is. I know who his brother is. I don't know who he is. Happy birthday, Liam Hemsworth, born on this day in 1990. Chris Hemsworth is Thor, okay? That's it. I'm full up on Hemsworths. I can't think. Is Liam the one that was with Miley Cyrus? Maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the guy that was... Maybe Liam was with Miley Cyrus. I barely know who Miley Cyrus is, but I know that Liam Hemsworth or one of the Hemsworth was with her for a while. Yeah, like I said, I don't have any more room in my brain for Hemsworth. All the Hemsworth space in my noggin is being occupied by Chris, who is Thor, who is awesome. who is awesome as Thor. He's one of the Chris's, don't you know? There's like a whole bunch of Chris's that people confuse. I do not. Well, okay. So of the Chris's, you got the Chris Hemsworth, you got the Chris Pratt, you got the Chris Evans, you got the Chris Pine, you got the Chris. I don't know, there's probably another one too, but I've forgotten that one. So apparently maybe there are other Chris's that I've forgotten. But they're all like these handsome, good-looking guys who are about the same age, who seem to compete for all the same roles. I can tell the difference between Chris Pratt, because I love him, because I think he's hysterical, and Chris Hemsworth, because I love him and I think he's incredible. And they're both in the Marvel universe. Although, wait, one of the other Chris's is in the Marvel universe too. And then the other one is in the like Star Wars or Star Trek universe. I don't know. You know who I have difficulty with? Not Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt. I have difficulty with the Evans and the Pine. I don't. I mean, if I was on Jeopardy, I guess I would answer that Captain America is Chris Evans. I think that's right. Or wait a second. Chris Evans. One looks kind of dopey and one looks kind of mean, but other than that, they're like the same person. Okay, and so Chris Pine is Captain Kirk, and he's in the Wonder Woman movies, right? I think that's it. Maybe I got it. Look at me. I think I got it. I feel comfortable with that. Yes, Alex, that is my final answer. What is today? We like to tell people what today is before we get started here. We have to celebrate appropriately every day is a day of something in this silly country. Today is Korean American Day. Oh, God. That explains it. Korean American Day was trending. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's going to be one of the days of today. But why was it trending? Because every 13-year-old in America is like giving shout outs to their favorite K-pop band. And I'm just so tired with the whole K-pop. Isn't every day Korean American Day these days? I mean, every day. And by the way, is it just South Korean American Day? Or is it, do we include the North Koreans? I don't know. Is it Korean Peninsula Day? Maybe that would be something that would be all inclusive. I don't know. But it's Korean American Day. So hug a Korean. I listen to some K-pop. Maybe watch Train to Bhutan. Or is it Busan? I don't know. Whatever. Squid Game. Just watch Squid Game. Just go ahead. Watch that. Or Parasite. Just watch those. Look at me. Enjoying Korean entertainment. Screw Hollywood. I'm all about South Korean entertainment. Except the K-pop. I can't get into that. Speaking of, last night I watched, I don't know. I was watching something last night after the Pillow Talk show. I went in the other room and I saw that the Eternals, the movie that was just in the movie theaters, the Eternals, the Marvel movie, was on Disney Plus. It's debuted. It's also, if you have like cable or whatever satellite, you can pay-per-view it. But if you have Disney Plus, it's right up there for free. So that's the one with like Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie, a whole bunch of people in it. I don't know. A whole bunch. They're like the two big ones, I guess. And there's a whole bunch of. They play like these eternal god. They're in the Marvel universe. They're these like eternal gods from another planet who, since the dawn of Earth, have been watching over us and all of that. And it was interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing. It's like 2.5 hours. I watched like 40 minutes of it and then I went to sleep. But they present themselves as like these gods who, protect the earth and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, this is in the Marvel universe and it shares the timeline with the Avenger movies and all of that. And I'm like, well, what do we need the Avengers for? I mean, why, where have you guys been all this time? Why we had the Infinity Stone debacle. We had all kinds of like horrible stuff that went on in the Iron Man movies. The Captain. Where were you Eternals when all this was going on? And then they explain they have one job. The Deviants. Their job is to make sure that the Deviants, who are a race of alien invaders who are trying to take over the Earth and have been trying to take over the Earth since the days of Sumeria, and that's their job. The Eternals do not get involved in anything else. That's why we have the Avengers. But turned out I was a racist watching the Eternals last night because one of the guys in the Eternals is a Korean dude, a big Korean dude. He's one of the Eternals. He's got this, it's Korean Day. That's why I'm mentioning this. He's got these powers and he's one of the Eternals. There's like all these people, Eternals. There's like 10 of them. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll watch the rest of it sometime. But I'm watching this movie, and one of my favorite Marvel characters is Doctor Strange. That's the Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever. Benedict, it's that guy. He plays Doctor Strange. And I love Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is one of the reasons that I enjoyed the Spider-Man movie No Way Home so much, because Doctor Strange's in it, and Doctor Strange is really funny. I think Doctor Strange is super cool. If I could be one of the Marvel guys, it might be Doctor Strange. I don't know. He seems to have a good thing going. So Doctor Strange has a little sidekick. His right-hand man is Wong. Everybody knows Wong, right? So I'm watching the Eternals. And I'm watching this dude, this Korean dude, who's one of the Eternals, and I'm like, "Holy cow, it's Wong! How are they gonna let Wong play two characters in the Marvel universe? How is he Wong, but now he's also this Eternal guy?" And I'm watching it, and then finally I pull up the Wikipedia page because I wanted to know who one of the other actors was, and turns out it wasn't Wong. It's not Wong. Just another heavyset Korean guy. And my racist ass couldn't tell the difference. Boy, did I feel bad. I was like, that ain't Wong. I guess I am racist. Although that's not racist. That's just... See, here in America, we have influences from all different ethnicities and all different parts of the world, and people look strikingly different from man to man to woman. We do. Some have blonde hair, some have red hair, some have long hair, some have no hair, some are fat, some are short, some have blue eyes, some have green eyes, some have this, some have that. But in other parts of the world where they don't have that multi-ethnic influence, all of the people look like they're the same ethnicity. And I'm sorry, I don't think it makes me a racist because I thought one Korean actor was another Korean actor. They both have the same color hair. They both have the same similar facial features. They don't have the same face, Pugs. I said similar facial features. That's all I'm saying. You know, you can look at an Irish guy and you can go, "Oh, that guy looks Irish." And then you could look at a Russian guy and go, "That guy looks Russian." Because they just looked at, but Americans look like everything. So I'm sorry. It's easier for me to tell. You're over-explaining, Pugs. Now you're becoming a racist. Case in point, couldn't tell the difference. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell the difference. Sometimes if it's all like white guys and they all have the same color hair, I can't tell the difference between them either. I need a mix. And as far as like the Korean actors who I am familiar with, especially ones that are big, heavy set, large guys. There can't be two of them, can there? Well, there are. There are two of them. I love Wong. Wong, if you're viewing this stream, I apologize. I didn't mean, but the guy in the Eternals is not Wong. Happy National Peach Melba Day. Oh. What? Stupid. National Rubber Ducky Day is also, it's even stupider. Stephen Foster Memorial Day. Hold on. I should probably figure out who Stephen Foster is before I say it's stupid. Was Stephen Foster like some guy who was tortured or, Stephen Foster Memorial Day on January 13th commemorates the music of a man who composed hundreds of American. Oh, that guy. Okay. Stephen Foster became known as America's first composer. His catchy tunes based on minstrel songs are still known today. So they weren't even original works. He just took minstrel songs and reworked them. Despite Foster's exclusive music contract with Firth Pond and Company, he was penniless when he died at the age of 37. The music industry, consistency. The music industry is very consistent with making sure that the artists don't get too uppity. While his songs were wildly popular, the lack of copyright protection and alcoholism left him with nothing of value to show for his work. During his lifetime, Foster wrote, okay, let's see some of his hits. His best-known compositions... Oh, wow. Oh, okay, this guy's got some hits. His best-known compositions. Oh, Susanna... Camptown Races, Old Folks at Home. I don't know what that is. My Old Kentucky Home. And now I only know that because I watched the Kentucky Derby, and they always trot out. Like they used to trot out Gomer Pyle to sing that. Was it Gomer Pyle? Jim Nabors apparently. Or no, does Jim Nabors sing? I don't know. Someone, whatever. Before the Kentucky Derby, they always trotted somebody out. They always do trot somebody out, and they sing My Old Kentucky Home, so I know that. Jeannie with the light brown hair. That's another one. Old Black Joe. That sounds problematic. I don't know what. Considering that he wrote it in like the 1850s, I'm thinking Old Black Joe is probably a problematic song. Beautiful Dreamer is another one. All right, so happy Stephen Foster Day. None of those are. I guess Camptown Races and Oh Susanna are pretty catchy numbers. All right, let's see what else. That's not it. It's not just National Rubber Ducky Day, Stephen Foster Day, and National Korean American Day. Oh, it's also National Sticker Day. Today sucks. Let's just say that today sucks. There's nothing good. National Sticker Day? What? How are you supposed to celebrate this? National Sticker Day on January 13th recognizes all the ways stickers brighten up a page or send a special. Okay, yeah, I don't really do stickers. That's not a thing for me. All right, let's get into what's trending today. All the things that people are talking about. We got one local story here that we'll start out with. This happened in Arlington, Texas, and it's trending locally. Street racing. Here we go again. One of the signs that I am an old man is when I'm driving on the highway and I see a couple of guys. And here in Texas, it is far more common than when I used to, so my main expressway commute here in Texas is between like the SMU exit on 75 up towards Parker, right? Because my son lives in that area. So I'll take 75 back and forth. I don't do the tollway. Please, you kidding me? I'm on a budget. I don't need to deal with that. So I take 75 from like SMU to Parker Road, primarily. In Chicago, I used to take like the 57 or the Dan Ryan into downtown. I would go like 159th Street in Chicago to downtown on the Ryan. And on the Ryan, my God, that is like the most treacherous stretch of road, especially you get past 111th Street. Between like 111th Street and White Sox Park, it is just like people fly by at 100 miles an hour with their hazards on, because the hazards are a force field. Never forget that. If you're driving recklessly, just put your hazards on and, that'll save you from anything. But that's not necessarily street racing. Those are just criminals evading arrest. Those are just people driving like madmen for no reason. But here in Texas, the street racing that I witnessed with my own eyes on 75 regularly, it's always, you can't even see who it is. I mean, I assume it's just stupid 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old kids in these like souped up Honda Accords, and they're not even like real street racers. They're like, you want a street race? Yeah, I bet you there's some people here in the 1%er area of Highland Park who would happily pull their Lamborghini out and go after your Accord if you really want a street race. But they won't do that, see, because they're responsible. But it's very common here, the street racing. Unlike anywhere else I've ever lived, Texas seems to have this insane love of street racing. And here, just yesterday, this happened. 2:00 in the afternoon. 1 killed, 2 injured in street racing crash in Arlington, Texas. Now, this has got some interesting things here because there seems to be a couple of soccer moms. This is like the strangest street. This isn't at all what this was. All right, I'll just read it to you. A woman is expected to face multiple felonies after Arlington police say she was involved in a street racing crash that killed a man Tuesday afternoon and injured a woman. It's always people who weren't involved in the race who get killed. Arlington police were called to a crash near the intersection of West Green Oaks Boulevard and Arkansas Lane at about 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock yesterday, where they said the driver of a Porsche Cayenne collided with a Honda Accord. Okay. So the Porsche Cayenne was one of the racers. That was the Porsche Cayenne is the Porsche SUV. This was a 45-year-old woman in her Porsche Cayenne SUV. She was racing another person believed to be another woman in a BMW SUV. I mean, this isn't, this is a whole different, this means that street racing has really crossed over. You got a couple of soccer moms racing through Arlington in their expensive SUVs. Investigators determined that the driver of the Accord was turning left across Green Oaks Boulevard from Lee Drive when he was struck broadside by a speeding Porsche SUV. The crash pushed the Accord into a light pole and then into the southbound lanes where the vehicles came to a stop. Arlington police said Wednesday the driver of the Porsche, identified as 45-year-old Priscilla Rodriguez, was racing the driver of a BMW SUV on northbound Green Oaks and was struck about 80 miles per hour in the 45-mile-per-hour zone. Now, street racing, this is just so stupid. At some point, here's what I'm okay with. Here's what I'm not even okay with it. If I see it now, I'm like, look at that douchebag. But it doesn't seem to be all that harmful. And coincidentally, it's something that I used to do. I once had a fairly quick car that I used to enjoy, and a guy, and it looked like a fairly quick car, and people in other fairly quick cars would pull up next to me at a stoplight or whatever. The one memorable instant that I have came out of a toll booth. We were coming through a toll booth, and the guy started to rev it, and then I'm like, okay, let's go. And he had a Corvette, and I was like, okay, and then. But that's only for like 5 seconds. It's like I consider the race to be the first 20 yards, and then you stop. You don't go miles. You don't just like crank it. You don't get it up to 100. I mean, maybe I got it up to like 40 in the 20 feet, but it was really just to see who could jump off the line quick enough. And again, like I say, today I see that I would still go, oh, it's kind of a douchebag, but I understand how that happens. You love your car. You think your car is cool. And so, you do that stuff. But as far as like these people who just, how do you know when to end? If you just get into an organic street race with somebody and you're racing down a residential neighborhood, I mean, people are turning onto this street. That's the other thing. You want to do it on the expressway at 3:00 in the morning, still F you. But I mean, at least you're not doing it where people are going to be turning into traffic and stuff. 80 miles an hour through the streets of Arlington. The driver of the Accord, a 30-year-old man, was killed at the scene. A 20-year-old woman who was with him was a passenger in the Accord, was critically injured. Her injuries are considered life-threatening, so this could be too. Rodriguez, the driver of the soccer mom driving the Porsche Cayenne, was also hospitalized. Her injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. The driver of the BMW did not stop and continued northbound after the crash. I mean, if I'm dumb enough to be involved in something like that on the streets of Arlington, I'm probably not going to stop either. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to go, whoa, that was bad, and just go home. Plausible deniability. I wasn't racing. She was racing me. Rodriguez is going to be charged with 2 counts of racing on a highway causing serious bodily injury or death and a second-degree felony. If convicted, Rodriguez faces from 2 years to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. It is not clear if Rodriguez has yet to obtain an attorney. Ay. All right, so be careful out there. I'm telling you, man. My kid will tell you, I scream. I get road rage when I see people just like on 75. I'm like, oh, look at these idiots. And they're worse than the motorcycle guys. The motorcycle guys who drive like idiots. Motorcycle guys drive like idiots 100% of the time. If it's a kid on a crotch rocket on a highway, they go in and out. They don't understand. They don't get that we don't see you, dude. We don't see. You're small. I'm looking in my mirrors. I'm looking for a vehicle. I'm looking for trucks. I'm looking for a car. I don't see you going in and out. So if I change lanes, I'm going to kill. Whatever. Don't get off on it. Street racing. So there you go. That happened in Arlington. Glenn Beck is also trending. Glenn Beck, another local story. Glenn Beck, who is looking more and more like Colonel Sanders these days. What's going on with him? Glenn Beck's got white hair. He's got a goatee. He's much heavier than I remember him being. Got glasses. He looks just like Colonel Sanders. I'm telling you. Glenn Beck has COVID for the second time. And it's moved into his lungs. It's serious. According to Glenn Beck. See, here's the problem with Glenn Beck. Talk about the kid who cried wolf, right? I mean, Glenn Beck lies about everything. Glenn Beck is a performer who has figured out that there is a certain faction of people who cannot distinguish between a performance and actual, information. So Glenn Beck is a performer. He's always been a performer. He was a shock jock. He was a wacky morning zookeeper until he lost his job and was given a job on a talk station, and he had to totally reinvent. So, whatever. But now, hey, God bless you, dude. You made a lot of money off of that. You targeted a specific group of people. You exploited that specific group of people, and now you're worth millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I don't know. We could probably gauge the damage that you've done. Glenn Beck was one of the first QAnon close guys. Like he was close to those kinds of crazy conspiracy theories. And then Alex Jones sort of went, wow, Glenn Beck's having a lot of success. I'm going to take it up a notch. And then he just went even crazier. And now that kind of shit is mainstream. Now that kind of purposeful misinformation now seems to be the mainstream. So Glenn Beck is now he's got the COVID for a second time, which I don't know. I thought that was the whole thing with those people. I thought it was, well, I've got natural immunity because I've had it once before. I don't need the vaccine. Once you get it, herd immunity. And now here we are, we're learning that a lot of people are getting it multiple times. So, I mean, whatever. So this time, apparently, according to Glenn, it's more serious. It has moved to his lungs. Didn't stop him from doing his show. I mean, he was on camera looking fine. I've got COVID and it's moved to my lungs and I'm really sick. But hey, let's talk about, so I don't know, whatever. I don't know how legit this is. Glenn says that it has spread to his lungs. But again, as I say, you can't believe anything that he says. Glenn Beck is interesting. Glenn Beck was one of the first people of that ilk, the misinformation peddlers, the people who appealed to a specific group of people, the master of the ginning up of the rubes, as I like to say it, people who want to believe their worst thoughts. Glenn Beck was always there to go, no, you're right. And here's why, that whole thing. And, you can get an audience if you just tell people what they want to believe. If a person has a really stupid idea and you can figure out a way to make that person think that idea isn't stupid, you've got a listener for life. And that is exactly the modus operandi of everything that Glenn Beck has done over the last 15 years. I do not like the guy. Can you tell? Can you tell I don't like the guy? But he was one of the first back in 2016 when Trump was, when he came down the escalator, he went all in as an anti-Trumper. He was, this guy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, everything bad about Trump, how he's unfit, how he's not a serious person. He'll do more damage. He went on and on with that. Right up until he realized that his audience didn't want to hear that. And now he's a big Trump guy. And he just made a complete 180. And then he became on Team Trump. So, credibility is not something apparently everybody looks for. Consistency, intellectual consistency is not something that people look for. So whatever. Glenn Beck is still making that money, honey. He's still cashing them checks. And I'm doing a stream for tips. Okay. Madonna is trending. Oh, here, I want to show you this. This is such a weird thing here. Madonna is trending. Why is Madonna trending? I don't know. It's not really a big deal why she's trending, but it is an interesting photo that I thought I would share with you guys. Okay, so this is a very strange group of people. This is people hanging out. This is a group of people who are hanging out from all different areas of notoriety, and they don't really seem to have all that much to talk about. I mean, let me kill this song. All right, you see this video? All right, here's who we got in this video. You got 64-year-old Madonna. She seems to be into it. They're listening to some music. You got Kanye and his girlfriend of the moment, who's Julia Fox. I don't know what she is. She's like an Instagram model or something. But then look at those two. That's Floyd Mayweather and Antonio Brown. That's what the hell? And Madonna seems to be the one. She's trying too hard, isn't she? Right? Like Madonna knows she's desperately trying to hang on to be relevant to the, the relevant basis of pop culture, which is people 30 and under. Even though Kanye isn't, even though Floyd Mayweather is like old, but still, you get what I'm saying. She looks like she's trying way too hard. And what is with her roots? Now, ladies, I don't know much about hair, but is this now a thing where like bad hair is now good hair? Look at those roots. That's bad, right? If someone was walking around like that 20 years ago, you'd say you need to get your roots done. The black skunk stripe right down the head. Well, thank you, Jeff. Jeff says I may be streaming for tips, but you are consistent. I'll be sure and tell the people who are sending me bills that. I appreciate it. I don't know, Albert Gamboa. What's an older cougar called? You better have a punchline. Don't you set me up for something like this and then not have a punchline. Just a weird grouping, right? And look at them. None of them look like they have it. They're just celebrities, so they're all sitting together. But they have nothing in common other than the fact that they're all celebrities. They don't have anything to talk about. Although AB seems to be talking about something. Mayweather's grooving a little bit. And you got Madonna trying way too hard. Kanye, just miserable. Just Kanye with his consolation prize because he can't have Kim anymore. And look at her. What's up with her? Why is she laying like that? What? She looks like a drugged out future date rape. Look at her. She's just like, I'm just laying here. I can't. Ugh. I don't like any of these people. I don't like any of them. Not a one. There you go. All right, let's get back to it. Although that Julia Fox, Kanye's girl, I don't have an opinion on her yet, other than she looked kind of like a slag, just laying there, just like. Pfft. All right, what are you, his second place? Kanye, is that your second place trophy? Because Kim's with Pete Davidson, which I don't get. And speaking of not getting Pete Davidson, Megyn Kelly and Machine Gun Kelly. Wait, Megyn Kelly. No, Megan Fox. Megan Fox and Machine. Boy, that'd be interesting if Machine Gun Kelly and Megyn Kelly were getting engaged. That'd be fun. I don't know how they would. I'd like to be at a dinner table with them, hear what they have to talk about. As opposed to Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, who are engaged now. And I can't imagine that they have great dinner conversation. Anyway, Megan Fox was like an it girl for a year. Like, I want to say like after the first Transformers movie. And then she did something weird. She was like the it girl. And then she got married to Brian Austin Green, who was David Silver from the original 90210. And they were together for a number of years. I think they had kids together. But it was weird. It was like how did David Silver, I mean, I could maybe understand if like a Jason Priestley or a Luke Perry, if they were to get a Megan Fox in her prime, but how did Brian Austin Green snag Megan? Well, love knows no bounds, Pugs, and maybe if you'd been in love a time or two, you'd understand this. So they divorced, or they got out of the, whatever they did. I don't know. Were they married? I don't know. They were together for a long time. They got tattoos of each other because that's what the idiots do nowadays. They got tattoos of each other's names, and now you got to get that fixed. But I guess if you have money, you can get that fixed. Megan Fox is now with Machine Gun Kelly. They've been together for a while now. It says they're like a year or so, and they got engaged, and they drank each other's blood. You're burying the lead, Pugs. What do you mean they drank each other's blood? Yeah, they're weirdos. Just weirdos. They're just Megan Fox is stunning. Stunningly beautiful. I mean, she's jacked herself up a little bit with some ugly tattoos. But hey, I'm an old man. That's just where I come from. I could overlook it. Megan Fox is beautiful. Machine Gun Kelly. What? I have no idea Pete Davidson and Machine Gun Kelly are male sex symbols in the year 2022. Oh, God. Megyn Kelly has got engaged to Megan Fox. Stop it! Megan Fox has become engaged to Machine Gun Kelly less than 2 years after her breakup with Brian Austin Green. The 35-year-old actress, 35, she has hit her peak. She is just, you thought she was pretty at 20. She is 35 now, and she is gorgeous. The 35-year-old actress posted video to Instagram of the rapper, whose real name is Colson Baker, going down on one knee and proposing to her under a banyan tree. In July of 2020, we sat under this banyan tree. We asked for magic, she wrote in a caption. We were oblivious to the pain we would face together in such a short, frenetic period of time. Unaware, what pain? What pain? Other than the fact that Machine Gun Kelly is a relevant contemporary musical artist who's a star, and you are somebody who was famous in the late 90s or what, early 2000s, whatever. What do you mean? You traded up. You went from a guy who hasn't worked since 1994, and now you're with a guy who's got hit records. I don't, what pain? You seem to have really traded up here, Megan. Although, let's not, again, he's a weird-ass, ugly-looking guy. He's doing pretty well. The fact that he was able to get her. We were oblivious to the pain we would face together in such a short, frenetic period of time, unaware of the work and sacrifices the relationship would require from us, but intoxicated off of our love and karma. She then added, somehow a year and a half later, having walked through hell together. Again! What hell did you... I can't... In the last year and a half, Machine Gun Kelly has done a bunch of movies. He's a movie star. He's a pop artist. He's a cultural icon in his own right. And you, again, were famous for 6 months in 2002. What hell did you guys walk through? The rest of us have been in lockdown. It's been what do you mean you have walked through hell, you overdramatic, stupid little girl? We were obvious. We were oblivious to the pain we would face together in such a short, frenetic period of time, unaware of the work and sacrifices the relationship would require for us, but intoxicated off of our love and karma. I already read that, but it was worth reading twice. Somehow, a year and a half later, having walked through hell together and having laughed more than I ever imagined possible, he asked me to marry him. What do you think? Laugh? What? You know what? What do you mean laugh? I don't see either of you two as being funny. Look at the poor people. And just as in every lifetime before, and just as in every lifetime before this one, and as in every lifetime that will follow it, I said yes to him. And then we drank each other's blood. What? What? First of all, that's so Angelina Jolie, Billy Bob Thornton, 1998. What are you guys doing drinking each other's blood? Don't you understand that we are in a pandemic? They probably didn't, right? People don't actually do. They just throw that out to the people at People Magazine because they know they'll write it, and then you'll get people like me going, what? All right. Over under on that relationship. I don't know. Other celebrity relationships making news today. My guy, one of my favorite guys. Oh, I love this guy. Oh, is this guy one of my favorite guys? He's cool. He's funny. He's got everything. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet have split. Did you even know they were together? I did, because I was like, huh. That's interesting. They've been together for 16 years. They got a couple of kids. Lisa Bonet, of course, most famous for her role on The Cosby Show 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. But still, Lisa Bonet, a beautiful woman, cool chick, I guess. People say she's cool. People say she does cool things. She carries herself in a cool way. I don't know. Much big age difference, though. Like Lisa Bonet is older than me, and Jason Momoa is not. Jason Momoa is, younger than me. So, I don't know. 16-year romance. They've called it quits. Another beloved Hollywood couple have called it quits. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet are parting ways in marriage. The pair released a joint statement to Instagram on Tuesday, announcing the news and promising that the love between us carries on, evolving in ways it wishes to be known and lived. Jesus. While the split appears to be amicable, it does bring to a close a romance that endured over 16 years. The pair share 2 children, and Momoa has been a stepfather to Bonet's daughter, actress Zoe Kravitz, from her previous marriage to rocker Lenny Kravitz. Okay. So this is interesting. And I've had this observation now for a while. Whenever I've seen pictures of Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet together, here, look, maybe I'll give you an example. Let's see if we got an example before I go ahead and show you. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just do this one. They're a beautiful couple. They're an Here's what I'll say about Jason Momoa. I can see how Jason Momoa would be a sex symbol. Whereas, I don't get Pete Davidson and I don't get Machine Gun Kelly. But Jason Momoa, I get. He's cool. He's buff. He's big. He looks like, he could protect you. Pete Davidson ain't protecting anybody. That's not. Pete Davidson is getting his ass whipped. All right. So here, I want to show you this. Look at this. Here's a picture of Jason Momoa. And you see him? Did you see him in that picture? Of course you do, because I'm sharing it. They look like the world's most beautiful homeless couple. Like if you were driving by a homeless encampment and you never see an attractive homeless couple. You don't. You just don't. You see, they look like they've been ridden hard. These two look like homeless people who are extraordinarily attractive. They're like if a magazine spread went and said, okay, let's make the world's most attractive homeless people. Well, this is what you get. And look at this one here. Okay, so I guess that's homeless style. I don't know. They just she looks like a witch. He looks like a warlock. They look like they've just time traveled from the 1890s. Cool couple though, I guess. I mean, I got no real issues with them other than I think they look like the world's most beautiful homeless couple. Let's see. Oh, they also here's also what I admire about them. But I guess when you're extremely good looking and your dance card is totally full, you can do this because jealousy and all of that sort of stuff, vanity doesn't really play a role into it. But so Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa have been together for 16 years. Before Jason Momoa, Lisa Bonet was with Lenny Kravitz, who also looks like a handsome homeless guy. That's another guy that there's got to be a style. There's got to be she likes a certain kind of guy, right? Like Jason Momoa just looks like Lenny Kravitz on steroids. He just looks like a much bigger, scarier Lenny Kravitz, but same sort of fashion sense, same sort of style and all that kind of stuff. So when Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet broke up and she started hooking up with Jason Momoa, they all 3 of them became super good friends. And that is so cool to see. They saw Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet have a daughter, Zoe, the actress, who, seen any movies recently. She's one of the hot young actresses. They share a daughter together. Jason Momoa comes into the picture. He has a couple of kids. They all hang out together. They vacation together. They do. And again, I say you can do this when you're attractive like that because there is no jealousy. I think that the problem that stops people from being able to act like decent human beings with exes and sort of have this extended family that they seem to have created. You know who else does it? I remember hearing a lot about this during the Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Bruce Willis kind of situation where there wasn't they were like a big extended family. They were all buddies. Bruce Willis and Ashton Kutcher became very close friends. Both of them married to Demi Moore, although I don't know, was Ashton Kutcher married to Demi Moore? I'm not sure. Whatever, they were in a long-term relationship. It's one of the things that I admire about the whole Momoa Bonet thing. And, When they say that, we still love each other and all this and we'll raise our kids jointly, I totally believe it because there's not going to be any jealousy. Lisa Bonet is going to have another guy in her life who looks like a handsome homeless man who's like 25 years younger than her, and she's going to be happy. And then Jason Momoa is going to, if I'm Machine Gun Kelly, I'm like, you better put some clamps in the Megan Fox because Jason Momoa could easily just pick that tree. He could Jason Momoa could have anybody. Jason Momoa is awesome. Jason Momoa has some Rock vibes. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I get like coolness vibes. Like just like they seem like decent, cool guys. Dwayne Johnson doesn't look like a homeless guy. Momoa does, but that's all right. Jason Momoa is. I also imagine Jason Momoa could probably take The Rock. I think if there was a fight between The Rock and Jason Momoa, my money might be on Jason Momoa. I could be wrong though. I don't know. That's just where I would go. That's where my brain goes on these kinds of things. If there was a fight, who would win? Let's see here. Road rage is trending today. Road rage. I used to have road rage. I don't have it anymore. Pugs, you just said that you scream in your car and your kid gets concerned, whatever people are. Yeah, but that's on them. They've triggered me. It's the same thing, I know. Oh, hold on. We got some breaking news. The leader of the Oath Keepers, which is one of these, the Oath Keepers are one of these right-wing organizations. Leader of the Oath Keepers has been arrested in connection with the January 6th investigation. The Department of Justice charges him and 110 others with seditious conspiracy. So that is breaking now, developing. Speaking of kooky Republicans, let's talk about a kooky Republican down in Florida in a road rage incident. Oh, really? A 53-year-old white man has road rage? Come on. A 52-year-old white man. I understand it. Spokesman for Florida State Board of Administration was shot and killed in an apparent road rage incident last week near Tallahassee. This according to law enforcement and news reports. Oh, Pugs, I thought you said that he had the road rage. It turns out that he's the victim. Yeah, he got what was coming to him. That's what happened. The driver of a Prius fatally shot John Kuzwanski outside a Circle K on Thursday after the two had pulled over following a collision, according to the Leon County Sheriff's Office and accounts by Florida and Tallahassee news organizations. Okay. Florida police cited unnamed sources who said the incident began when Kuzwanski's BMW veered out of its lane and hit the Prius, after which both drivers pulled into a parking lot. The driver of the Prius confronted Kuzwanski and then got back into his car to wait for law enforcement. Okay, so you get this. So Kuzwanski, the dead man, he changed lanes without checking his blind spot or something, and he clipped this Prius, and then so they pulled off to do the right thing, and then the owner of the Prius was like, "What the hell, man? Why would you look at where you were going?" But then he went right back to his car and called the police and was waiting for the cops to show up. That's when Kuzwanski, the GOP official in Florida, 53-year-old fat, bald, raging man. Kind of like, come on, I know I'm describing myself. The incident took place shortly after 5 p.m. in the area of 6700 Thomasville Road near Bannerman Road. Deputies and EMS attempted life-saving measures for Kuzynski's on the scene. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. So here's what happened. So we jumped ahead. So Kuzwanski changes lanes, doesn't look, I'm just assuming, sideswipes the Prius. They pull into the parking lot. The guy in the Prius is like, "What the hell, man?" And then gets back into his car and calls police, and they wait. What happens next is that Kuzwanski, the road-raging 53-year-old fat, bald guy, emerges from his BMW. Remember, he caused the accident. Emerges from his BMW with his pistol, because you got to have a pistol, and begins firing at the Prius. Pap, 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 pap. Because he's just lost his shit. This is a guy who wears a suit and tie. This is a guy who works for a Florida... He's a politician in Florida. He works for a... Bap, bap. So he starts shooting at the guy in the Prius. Why? I don't know. He's obviously got some problems. The dude in the Prius pulls his gun, puts 2 into the guy, drops him dead. Now he's dead. Karma? Is that karma? I don't know. What comes around goes around. A gunplay at the Circle K. That's what this can be called. Deputy, here, we'll give you the exact description. The exchange, okay, so here, we'll go with this. The driver of the Prius confronted Kuzwanski and then got back into his car to wait for law enforcement to investigate the incident. The exchange then escalated dramatically as Kuzwanski rammed his BMW into the Prius. Oh, that's right. He did that first. So they're in the parking lot. The dude's calling the police. He gets out. He's like, what the hell, man? He gets back into his car, calls the police. Kuzwanski is like, you can't talk to me that way. And he floors his car, T-bones the Prius, shutting the door shut, the passenger or the driver's side door shut. And then he emerges. The exchange then escalated dramatically as Kuzwanski rammed his BMW into the Prius on the driver's door and began pushing the car sideways through the parking lot. This according to witness accounts. Kuzwanski then shot a gun at the white Prius several times, also according to sources on the scene. The Prius driver, who also had a gun, shot and fired back into Kuzwanski's windshield, striking him. The incident took place at 5 p.m., now here, court records show that Kuzwanski had been arrested for a similar confrontation with another driver at the very same intersection back in 2014. He was convicted. He wasn't convicted because that would hurt his political career. So he took a no contest and pled to a lesser charge, and he had to go to anger management and all of that stuff, but still allowed to have a gun legally, still allowed to have a gun in his dashboard of his car, even though he threatened another guy with a gun at the same intersection years before. Here he is, back to do it again, and this time, got him killed. Good guy with a gun, I guess. A good guy with a gun put this maniac down. His wife, Rebecca, however, posted on Twitter that John was the victim and he lost his life. His family deserves time to heal in privacy. Why are they not reporting the shooter's name? The man who assassinated him. Oh my God. Your husband, witness accounts are saying your husband was a complete jackass. He's got a rap sheet that goes back 8 years that says he did the same thing, went through the court system, had the treatment with anger management, and then did it again. And he's just shot. Sheriff's office has not released the Prius driver's name. The department said in a statement Tuesday that it is still investigating, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing surveillance video. The Prius driver was taken into custody briefly, but then released. No charges had been filed as of today. The agency Kuzwanski works for, the SBA, is responsible for investing the Florida Retirement System's pension plan and administering its investment, the Democrat reported. Oh, the Democrat is the newspaper down there. Anyone with information is asked to contact about it. So, a road-raging, angry, middle-aged, fat suit-wearing white man felt aggrieved because the dude he ran into said something mean to him, and he just couldn't process that. So he rammed the car, then pulled his gun out and started shooting at the car. And guess what? Good guy with a gun in the other car pulled his out and dropped him right through the windshield. Pop, pop, down. Gunfight at the Circle K in Florida. Telling you, these are not gangbangers. These are not insane troublemakers. These are not career criminals. These are, actually, the dead guy sounds like, maybe he's a career criminal. We'll see. Cannabis is trending. Why is cannabis trending? Well, because apparently it's a cure for COVID. I don't know. Study finds that cannabis compounds prevent infection by COVID-19. Now, this is what stoner website did you get that BS from? Forbes, the high times of the financial world. Forbes. This is from Forbes. Let's check this out. See what this story says. Study finds that cannabis compounds prevent infection by COVID-19 virus. Compounds in cannabis can prevent infection from the virus that causes COVID-19 by blocking its entry into cells. This according to a new study published this week by researchers affiliated with Oregon State University. Cannabinoids block cellular entry of SARS-CoV-2 and the emerging variants. The researchers found that 2 cannabinoid acids commonly found in hemp varietals of cannabis Cannabiala, whatever. It's hard words to pronounce. If you want to look this up, you can look it up. Whatever. I'm not going to go into it. Now it's very detailed. It's all like smart people talk with big giant words, and I have no idea what that means. So we'll move on. But look at that. Another victory for the devil's lettuce. Boris Johnson is trending. Boris Johnson is Prime Minister of the UK. He's in some trouble. This story will not go away. Apparently, during a lockdown, his staff decided to throw a big party in the garden there at 10 Downing Street, which is like their White House. It's like where their leader lives, 10 Downing Street. They threw a party, and Boris attended the party, and then they lied about the party ever happening, and then pictures were revealed, and they're like, okay, sorry, we lied about the party, and now everybody's like, Boris Johnson, you got to resign. Now, I'm surprised the dude made it this long. Boris Johnson is a clown show. Have you ever seen this guy? This guy's hair is insane. There's a movie on HBO called Brexit, and it's the story of how the Brexit campaign came to be so popular in the UK. Benedict Cumberbatch plays the political operative who was in charge of turning Brexit into a viable idea by manipulating the people, by basically targeting the least informed people in the United Kingdom and making them think that Brexit would be a good idea. You know, nationalism, all of that kind of stuff. Very good movie. It's called Brexit. You'll enjoy it. But the depiction of Boris Johnson, who at the time, I don't think he was mayor of London, and then he became prime minister after Theresa May. So I'm not exactly sure what his position was, but the portrayal of Boris Johnson in this movie is just of a well-connected idiot, just a well-connected, super dumb guy. So, I mean, just look at his hair, you know, he's just such a weird guy. He's just such a weird, bizarre, not serious at all, man. And now calls for his resignation are beginning to grow, and they don't trick around there. You know, they get rid of prime ministers all the time. They just. So who knows if he's going to survive the next 24 hours? That's why Boris Johnson is trending today, because he may be forced to resign. Although I got to tell you, knowing what little I know about Boris Johnson, he won't resign. I don't see him being the type that would do the right thing. You know, that's the problem. People resign because they think they're doing the right thing. This is what's expected of somebody who is a serious world leader, somebody who the people have to. I have violated your trust, and for this I am so sorry, and I can no longer uphold the duties bestowed upon me. That's not going to happen. That's not the age we live in. Guys like Boris Johnson don't admit or fall on their sword. That's only something stupid liberals do. I will take the moral high ground and I will torpedo my career because this is the right thing to do. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not. Just ask Al Franken. It is not the right thing to do. It is the dumbass thing to do, because nobody else other than stupid left-leaning liberals think that there's honor in falling on your sword. There should be. There should be. Absolute. But there's not. So stop it. So whether or not Boris Johnson is going to resign, I don't know. We'll see. Prince Andrew, also in the UK, is trending today because some big deals went down here. The Queen, the Queen, or Mummy, has stripped him of all his military titles and affiliations with British royal family charities. All of this is coming from the, he liked the little girl. He did something with the little girl. He was a prince, and he is blowing it. Britain's Prince Andrew has been stripped of his military titles and charities. Buckingham Palace has announced on Thursday, a day after a judge ruled that a sexual abuse civil lawsuit against the Queen's son could proceed. Andrew will no longer use the style, His Royal Highness. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. I watched The Crown. And that's a big deal. The His Royal Highness or Her Royal Highness, that's a big, because there are different stages to being princes and stuff. That's a big one. That means that you are in direct line. That means you're an important one. And they're saying now, yeah, you're not so important anymore. We're just going to move you to the back. We're embarrassed by you. Andrew will no longer use the style His Royal Highness in any official capacity. Is he still the Duke of York, though? I think he's a Duke. A royal source told CNN on Thursday the source said that the decision was widely discussed among the royal family with the Queen's approval and agreement. Yeah, the Duke of York's military affiliations and royal patronages have been returned to the Queen. The Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending this case as a private citizen. They're just trying to shield themselves from all of the creepy dirt that is going to be drug up about. You think he just did this the one time? You don't think that there is a lifetime of weird, bizarre, sex skeevy shit in this guy? And now in an American courtroom, this isn't happening in the UK. It's going to happen in an American courtroom. They're going to find out some dirt on this guy, and it is all going to come out in public. And the royal family is like, we don't know him. He's not one of us. The royal source also told CNN that all the Duke's roles have been handed back to the Queen. We talked about that. On Wednesday, a New York judge ruled against a motion by Andrew's legal team to dismiss a civil lawsuit brought against him by Virginia G., who alleges that she was trafficked by disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and then forced to perform sex acts with the prince at the age of 17. Andrew, again, I can't get over the 17 thing. I mean, it would be so easy for him to go, how old are you? 17? You got an 18-year-old? I mean, just, Jeff, hey, Jeff, is there an 18-year-old? Why would I have an 18-year-old? Well, I would just make it, I mean, there's really no difference, right? I mean, how long until you're 18? I'll be 18 in 3 weeks. I mean, come on, man. I mean, can't you just get me see, there's a line of demarcation. Yes, I like that. I just don't understand it. 17 seems... Whoa. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. We have that line for a reason. Anything on the young side of 18 is illegal, and he shouldn't be with her. My point is, so close to 18, he couldn't just... If he wanted to have sex, what is the difference between somebody who is 17 years old and 362 days and somebody who is 18 years old and 1 day? Right? It's like a week. It's like a week difference. And I'm not excusing him. It's still skeevy. The guy was like an old man. She was a child. You know, just because it says it's all right to be with an 18-year-old, that's where we make the legal line. It doesn't mean that you should. An 18-year-old is still a dummy. An 18-year-old is still somebody who's not mature enough to handle a relationship with His Royal Highness. I mean, I'm just saying. It would have made... Doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, one's a felony for a good reason, because we have to draw the line somewhere. But it just seems to me, I mean, if it's about being sexually attracted to someone young, I don't understand the difference between 17 and 18. 18 is young too, but 18 is legal. You wouldn't have all of these problems. Just so weird. Just so weird. The allegations against Andrew, along with his relationship with the late convicted sex offender, it seems so unnecessary. Epstein had already tarnished the prince's reputation, but the prospect of a public trial that would attract global attention could put Andrew, the third and reportedly favorite son of Queen Elizabeth II, in an unprecedented situation for the royal family. So we got some bad stuff going on there. Just seems totally unnecessary. 17, dude. You get crazy. Virgin. No. Okay. So here we go. Peacemaker. Peacemaker is trending. Peacemaker, the series. It's one of the DC, right? Peacemaker is DC. John Cena's new series created by James Gunn, of course, of Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn is great. Peacemaker is debuted on HBO, and people are going bananas. Peacemaker, the first 3 episodes are now available on HBO Max. Peacemaker is the one of the members of the Suicide Squad. He is played by John Cena, and he's really funny. He's like he's real. Imagine if Captain America was just as like jingoistic and patriotic, but a member of QAnon. That's basically what the Peacemaker is. John Cena plays this guy like a crazy, he's the Peacemaker, but he's crazy and he's violent and he's nuts. He believes in conspiracy theories. It's supposed to be very funny. It's been rumored to be a very funny series coming to HBO Max from the DC world for a long time now, and it's up now. The first 3 episodes you can see, it's getting terrific reviews. People are calling it just well, it's James Gunn. James Gunn is great. I mean, James Gunn, his Guardian of the Galaxy was fantastic. Also, James Gunn is trending. James Gunn is trending because James Gunn is back. James Gunn was canceled, I guess. He wasn't necessarily Me Too'd, but he was canceled a number of years ago, and he was taking off a bunch of projects, and people went nuts, and they're like, oh, why? He's such a great director. We need him to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You know, all of that stuff was going on. And he was fired from Marvel, and now he's doing some DC stuff. He was canceled because of some tweets. He was canceled because of some tweets from like 20 years ago that were so obviously attempts at dark humor that anyone who would take these tweets seriously and think that he's a racist, he said Mexican in his tweet. It was a joke. If you actually look at the joke is on people who think that there's something wrong with Mexicans. He joked about rape. Yeah, he did. He made some dark jokes about rape, but it was about him being raped and not necessarily. At any rate, he's back. They decided, they went, you know what? This is really not. You got swept up in a thing. These were some my God. Jim Norton, who's a very funny comedian. Jim Norton is still out there working. He's getting jobs. Go look at some of his tweets from 20 years ago. I mean, I guess you couldn't tweet 20 years ago, but you know what I'm saying? 10 years ago. Dark humor is not for everybody, but these tweets were so obviously attempts at. Well, Pugs, what do you mean? All right, I'll read them for you. I'll read a couple of them. These are the ones that have been. These are the tweets that got James Gunn canceled for like 2 years. But he's back. He's back. And everybody's like, okay, he's fine. All right, so he tweeted this while watching The Expendables in a movie theater. The Expendables was so manly, I effed the shit out of the little pussy boy next to me. Okay? That's a joke. That's a dark joke about how testosterone-ridden the Expendables are. Well, I gotta cancel it for that. He's a horrible person who wants to rape the child next to him. Not a child. He said pussy boy. That could be anything. Laughter is the best medicine. Here's another tweet. Laughter is the best medicine. That's why I laugh at people with AIDS. Dark humor. Not particularly in good taste, but it's a stupid attempt at a joke. He doesn't really laugh at people with AIDS. Let's see, what's another one? Wondering which Disneyland character would be the worst to get raped by. I think it's Goofy, but Sleepy would also suck. Okay, so, bad humor, but he's not talking about, I think it's fine to rape. That's what I think, James Gunn. These are jokes. These are bad, dumb jokes. I'm doing a big Hollywood film adaptation of The Giving Tree with a happy ending. The tree grows back and gives the kid a blowjob. I mean, it's obviously a stupid joke. Okay, so here's one. Here's one that is definitely off color. Here's one that is definitely in bad taste. But again, it is obviously an attempt at some severely dark humor. The best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped, it's like, whew, this feels great, not being raped. Bad humor? Sure. Might I remind you, Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome. So wherever this bad humor comes from, funnels itself into the creation of that. For the record, here's another one. For the record, I want to make this clear. I am against rape and eating babies in real life. Unless, of course, you're really, really hungry. Oh my God, how could he possibly? Okay, these are stupid tweets that a guy made 2009. That one came from 2009. All right, so there you go. So that's why James Gunn is tweeting, because here he's having this big moment with this new show, The Peacemaker, that is on HBO Max. People are saying it's tremendous, it's terrific, it's funny, it's inventive. And then, of course, he's got a trend because, but what about the time he joked about eating babies? Yeah, that's right. The time he joked about eating babies. Virgin Galactic is trending today. Virgin Galactic is the space thing that is, handled by what's his face? What's his name? Branson. Branson, the pauper, the peasant of the billionaires who are in the space game. Branson's got no money compared to Bezos and Musk. So Branson in a little bit of trouble. They're their stock is tanking, and they're looking for $500 million to come from somewhere to help with the whole space tourism thing. And that's what Virgin Galactic is all about. SpaceX is also trending. SpaceX launched today from Florida this morning. Falcon 9 rocket, with 105 satellites attached to it. Cool. Okay, breaking news that we've been waiting on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has also been trending all day today. The Supreme Court blocks Biden administration vaccine rule for large businesses, but it allows a vaccine mandate for some healthcare workers. So there you go. We've been waiting on hearing how the Supreme Court would come down on the vaccine mandates for big and small businesses. Looks like they have blocked it for big businesses, but they are allowing the mandate to hold for healthcare workers. So there you go. Nurses, sorry, but everybody else, all right. Ronnie Spector died. Ronnie Spector died yesterday at 78 years old. She is trending. Ronnie Spector, of course, born Ronnie Bennett, I believe is her name. Last time we were talking about this with James, and he said she was born Ronnie Greenfield, but no, she married a guy named Greenfield. His name was Ronnie Bennett. Ronnie Spector, of course, the girl in the middle, the leader, if you will, of the Ronettes. A bunch of hits. They had their first album produced 6 number 1 hits in America. Most notably, "Be My Baby" was their signature hit, I suppose you could say. She died after a brief battle with cancer. She's 78 years old. That's people. We got people. Betty White, 99. We got people living into their 90s. That's still fairly young. So after the show yesterday, we talked just a little bit on the Pillow Talk edition. We talked a little bit about Ronnie Spector, and I fell into a YouTube hole. First, I fell into a Wikipedia hole, and then I fell into a YouTube hole. And I spent a great deal last night just watching. Well, it started out watching stuff about the production methods used to create the Ronette sound, the wall of sound we talked about. Phil Spector, she was married to Phil Spector, crazy guy Phil Spector. He beat the crap out of her. He whipped her with a gun. He did all kinds of awful shit. They finally got divorced in 1974, and then he blackballed her career. She basically couldn't work. She couldn't get a job in the music business because Phil Spector was one of the most powerful people in the music business. And it wasn't until 1983 when Eddie Money wrote the song "Take Me Home Tonight," and he said, "I want Ronnie Spector to sing on this." And they said, "Well, we can't hire her because Phil Spector is going to block that." And Eddie Money basically said, "Fuck Phil Spector. Fuck that guy. I want Ronnie Spector to sing 'Be My Little Baby.'" So, Eddie Money, cool ass guy. What a cool guy Eddie Money was. So I fell into that little story online yesterday, learning about how that all came about. Then I started watching all these YouTube videos of Ronnie Spector and Eddie Money on David Letterman from 1984. That was very cool. Then I just fell into an Eddie Money hole where I realized that I like Eddie Money way more than I thought. It was a cool story about how Eddie Money stuck up for and said that I don't care what Phil Spector tries to do to this album. I don't give a shit. I'm writing a bunch of hits here. I want Ronnie Spector, and you can't tell me I can't have her. So that's how "Take Me Home Tonight." The Eddie Money song. "Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie sang." And then she goes, "Be my little baby." It's very cool. Very cool song. Very cool. It's a good song, but it's also cool in what it meant to her. What it meant to her, this woman who was physically abused for years and years. She was kept under lock and key by the insane Phil Spector, who she was married to. She, as James went through some of the things that Phil Spector did to her, Phil Spector took all of her shoes away from her so that she couldn't go anywhere. And Phil Spector, the off times where she was allowed to go somewhere, like go to the store or go to the whatever, go to the pharmacy for whatever reason, Phil Spector made her drive around in a car with a life-size dummy of Phil Spector in the car. That's how bizarre this guy was. Phil Spector also famously held a gun to her head and forced her. And Phil Spector, that never happened. Come on, Phil Spector was a lunatic with guns. He killed Lana Clarkson, who was a waitress at the Hard Rock Cafe. That's why we all know who Phil Spector is. He hadn't had a hit since the 1970s, but he murdered a Hard Rock Cafe waitress back in like 2005 or something because he was playing with a gun. He famously held a gun to Ronnie Spector's head and made her sign away all of her royalty rights to any of the music they had created together, and then basically kicked her out. And, you know, back then, 1974, you say that your famous husband, Phil Spector, abused you and did all this horrible shit to you, and everybody be like, yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. What are you? You're the woman? We don't care. We tell your story walking toots. You were lucky to be married to him. He made you hits. I mean, it's very similar to the story that we're all familiar with through What's Love Got to Do with It, which was the story of Tina Turner and Ike Turner, who, ironically, they were also members of the Wall of Sound music situation that Phil Spector had created. So she died. Cool ass woman, totally had her career derailed, could have easily been one of the great female voices decade after decade after decade. But her psychopath husband, Phil Spector, basically saw to it that she never had a career again until Eddie Money stepped in and said, you know what? It's 1983. And I say, fuck you, Phil Spector. I want to use Ronnie Spector on this. I like her voice. I want to bring her back. And she had a little bit of a career upswing. She would tour again. People were actually going to see her in the 80s. Then she was elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because people recognized the contribution that she made as the leader of the Ronettes. And, you know, just a really cool chick. And like I said about the Ronettes, they were a girl group. They were three black girls. Her sister and her cousin, I think, were the other members of the Ronettes. She was the leader, and they took a different path than the other girl groups. The other girl groups of the time were essentially gospel-based singers, and they were like the Marvelettes, even the Supremes. You know, they all grew up singing in the church and all that kind of stuff. And to distinguish themselves from the goody-goody nature of the other black girl groups of the time, the Ronettes went, we're going to be skanks. We're going to be sluts. We're going to wear tight clothes. We're going to be bad girls. Everybody, we aren't the Supremes. The Supremes looked beautiful. The Supremes came out and they were wearing these gorgeous dresses and they looked all prim and proper. No. We're going to come out in yoga pants and skin tight sweaters, and we're going to just do the complete opposite. And that's why a lot of people think that they were so cool, because they were just like, yeah, whatever. So Ronnie Spector, she's dead. Died yesterday at the age of 78. She's one of the greats. Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is trending. Why is Raising Cane's trending? For a stupid reason, because apparently there is no Raising Cane's in Palm Springs, California, because those people have everything. And now there's a Raising Cane's in Palm Springs, California, and everybody's going, cool, we got a Palm Springs Raising Cane's. Here's my problem with Raising Cane. Oh, you people think my cereal bar idea is stupid? You think my idea of having a restaurant that serves nothing but breakfast cereal, you think that's dumb? Oh, that'll never work. At some point in corporate history, somebody from Raising Cane's went and raised a whole bunch of money off of the idea, we're just going to serve chicken fingers. But that's a side item. That's something that everybody has chicken for. You go to McDonald's, you go to Burger, you go to what? Are you going to serve anything else? Just chicken fingers. Wow. How is that going to? That's like a kid's meal item. You're going to base an entire fast food restaurant off of a kid's menu item? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's $1 billion. Expand, expand, expand. I don't get Raising Cane's. I don't get it. I refuse to go there. I've had it once. They're all right. They taste like chicken fingers. Whatever. But it is an entire fast food chain based off of one menu item commonly seen on children's menus. Chicken fingers. We do chicken fingers. That's what we do. Yeah, can I maybe get let me get some chicken fingers and also get cheeseburger or something? Just chicken fingers. What about really taco? Anything else that I can get? Chicken fingers. What else do you have? French fries and chicken finger batter. That's it. So that's all I can get here. All right, you know what? How about can I get a Diet Dr. Pepper? We got tea. You got tea? Chicken fingers, French fries, and tea? Also, you can get some lemonade. What the hell kind of parallel universe have I fallen into? How is it that Raising Cane's is a successful place when all they do is sell? Pugs, your stupid idea about just selling. Oh, do they have a chicken sandwich too? Do they? Did they add a chicken sandwich? Okay, we've got chicken fingers and it's between a couple pieces of bread. That's it? It's stupid. It's stupid. All right, Adam, I'm just trying to have fun with it. Thanks. It is. It's a chicken finger sandwich. I brought a tortilla. Can you put some of those chicken fingers in my tortilla and I'll just call it a chicken taco? We can't do that. Why not? Because we only serve kids' food. All right, so here's my pitch. I'm going to open up a fast food restaurant called Frenchie's. And guess what we're going to serve? Just French fries. That's it. That's all you get. Can I get like maybe a burger or something with that? No, we got our French fries. What, just French fries? That's it. How about some, can I get some dipping sauces? We got ketchup. That's all you got? That's it? I don't understand Raising Cane's. I think we have an entire generation of people who have been stunted. Where they just, I'm 40 years old. I think I'd like some chicken fingers for dinner. Really? Would you like a little scoop of mac and cheese with that too? Maybe some buttered noodles? Can I get you just some buttered noodles? Nothing with any sauce. I mean, I guess it's all right. I guess chicken fingers are fine. I just don't get it. I've never been in the mood for just chicken fingers. Never. I've never gone, I got to get me down to some Raising Cane's so that I can eat off the kids' menu. Also trending alongside the Raising Cane's, because apparently the Raising Cane's in Palm Springs that is now going to open is going to be a fancy, cool-ass Raising Cane's because it's in the Coachella Valley. And Coachella, the big concert, they are trending today as well. Coachella is trending because they told Travis Scott to beat it. Travis Scott, we don't want you. You're not a part of this thing this year. He was supposed to be. He thought he had been planning for the Coachella show to be his big comeback. He hasn't performed since the tragedy at Astroworld down in Houston, where a bunch of people died. He was hoping, he believed that he was going to be one of the highlighted performers at this year's Coachella. And they said, yeah, no, we don't want you. So here's the full list. Here's the full list of people. Not a concert I'd want to go to. Don't know. 100 Gex. Gecs. No idea. 21 Savage. All right, I know 21 Savages. Adam Port. Elena Castillo. Alec Benjamin. Allie Gate. Allie Gatey. I don't know any of these people. Alton Goon. Amber Mark. A Meme. Amel and the Sniffers. Okay, I don't know who they are, but I would be interested in learning more about Amel and the Sniffers. Anita. Anna. Ari Lennox. Not Annie Lennox. Her cousin. Ari Lennox. I don't know if cousins. I don't know. Arlo Parks. Arouge Aftab. Art Bat. Again, I don't know who Art Bat is, but I would be interested in seeing what Art Bat does. Baby Keem. I've heard of that. Bad, not good. Banda MS. Badoobie. Beach Bunny. Beach Goons. Okay, I'd be interested in seeing what I like the name. Bedouin. Belly. Belly? You mean Tanya Donnelly? You mean the Riot Girl band from the 90s? Famous for their one single, Feed the Tree? Okay, I'm in. Not that Belly. Big Sean. I know who Big Sean is. Billie Eilish. I know who Billie Eilish is. Bishop Briggs. Black Coffee. Black Midi. Brockhampton. Caribou. This goes. Carly Rae Jepsen. I've heard of her. Caroline Polachek. I have a friend named Brian Polachek. Any relation? I'd check her out. Okay, we just can't. It goes on and on and on. I don't know any of these bands. I am Dave. Dave is performing. Oh wait, is that probably not? It's probably not anybody. God. All right, no thank you. I'll stick with Bonnaroo. I'll stick with Lollapalooza. This Coachella stuff is just ridiculous. So Travis Scott is not going to be performing at Coachella, which, okay, you would have been one of the people I'd have heard of. But honestly, I've only really become familiar with him after the tragedy of Astroworld. Like I've said from the beginning, if you had told me, Travis Scott, what does he do for a living? I'd go, okay, I know his name. He's famous. He's involved with the Kardashian. He plays in the NBA. Wrong. I'd have been wrong. The Godfather. The Godfather is trending today as well. Why is The Godfather trending? Well, because it's the 50th anniversary of the release of what is widely considered to be, well, it depends. Some people say Citizen Kane. Others will argue that The Godfather is the greatest American film ever made, and it's going to be released in theaters. There is a new limited theatrical release planned for The Godfather, and it's an exclusive deal with Cinemark. Cinemark's going to be doing it. Apparently, they've made it look different. Apparently, the sound is going to be different. And look, I have seen The Godfather a dozen times. It's truly a spectacular film. It is a great movie. It's a wonderful story. Godfather right into Godfather 2, right into Godfather 3. Godfather 3 sucks! No, stop it. That's like Nickelback and Candy Corn. We're all programmed to think that Godfather 3 sucks. It may not be as earth-shattering and powerful as Godfather 1 or Godfather 2, but stop pretending like it's a terrible film, because it's not. It actually tells you, it continues the story. It is not a terrible... Godfather 3 is the worst movie that has ever been made. So you're telling me Francis Ford Coppola made the worst movie that's ever been made? You're telling me that you're programmed. We are programmed to have these parroted responses to certain things without thinking about it. You could sit and watch Godfather 3. If you watched Godfather 3 and had no idea that when it came out, people were like, well, this isn't as good as Godfather 1 or Godfather 2, you would have no idea that it was so derided. You would have no idea. It's a fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It's an interesting story. I mean, for a movie that everybody hates, there sure are a lot of lines from it that we keep. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back. Look, all I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with The Godfather 3. The Godfather 3 it's just one of the three films. It's not the best. It can't be the best. Godfather 1 is the best. Pugs, you know damn well that most critics say Godfather 2 is the best. Too much subtitles. Too much. He spends too much time in Italy in Godfather 2. It's too much of that. I mean, it's good. Godfather 2 is good. Don't get me wrong. But Godfather 1 is the good one. So I would be interested in seeing that. I have never, as I said, I've probably seen Godfather 12 times. I mean, I'm just throwing that number out there, but I've seen it, man, probably more than that. I mean, it's one of those movies that I watch once a year, once every couple of years. Like, I think it's time to watch The Godfather. And I'm going to watch it with my son when he's a little bit older, when I think he's going to appreciate it more. So I'll watch that. but I've never seen it in a movie theater. I've only ever seen The Godfather on television. So that would be interesting. And I think this is what movie theaters have to do. They have to do things that are going to get people to go to movie theaters who don't go to movie theaters anymore. I don't know. I would go to a movie theater to watch The Godfather on a big screen, the way it was intended to be seen, and all of that stuff. That would be interesting. I think this is a cool thing. So for a limited time, the 50th anniversary release of The Godfather is going to be back in theaters and exclusively at Cinemark. They've made a deal with Cinemark theaters. Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos. Do we know who Elizabeth Holmes is? Elizabeth Holmes was a hotshot Silicon Valley genius woman. Very bizarre, very weird. Like not like crazy, like, but like no emotion. She's almost like an android. She's very pretty girl. She wore the exact same outfit all the time and demanded that everybody that worked in her circle dressed exactly like her, which is a little but she founded a company that Silicon Valley went nuts for called Theranos. And this company promised to revolutionize home healthcare. The idea was that she had invented something that would clean blood. It was able to look. Some of you may know more about this than me, but just go with me on this because it doesn't matter the specifics. Whatever it was that she invented was supposed to be revolutionary. It was supposed to, take a big load off hospitals. It was supposed to allow people to do things that they used to have to go somewhere to do, to be able to do it in their home. So Silicon Valley and all of the angel investors and all of the big hedge funds, everybody got involved. They made her a billionaire off of the concept that she pitched. The problem was, didn't work. Never was going to work. She knew it was never going to work. She just raised money off something that she didn't invent. There is no invention. It's like magic. Whatever this is she was pitching, people were like, that can't possibly work. And she's like, but it does. And they went, where do I sign the check over to? So she took all of this money. She went on trial for fraud, and she was convicted just last week. And now we're waiting to see what Elizabeth Holmes is going to be hit with as far as a sentence. But they have delayed her sentencing until the end of September 2022, which is going to allow, convicted Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes will spend the summer a free woman after judge set her sentencing for late September. So people are very upset about this. They're like, wait a second. Why is she getting all the, she's going to be able to, because she's rich, she's pretty, she's young, and, I guess she didn't murder anybody. And look, let's be honest about it. She's not a violent criminal, so maybe it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But a lot of people are like, this isn't justice. She should be sentenced right away. We need to send her to jail and throw her away. Why? Because she took money from a bunch of rich people, She's not a mall shooter, She's not dangerous. She's just... look, on some level, I applaud her. On some level, I say, yeah, you took a bunch of stupid rich people. Good for you, girl. Although I caught up with her. Also, Bond. James Bond is trending. Now, I don't know much about James Bond. I've never seen a full James Bond movie all the way through. I talked about it yesterday. I'm an American, damn it. I am a Jack Ryan guy. I'm a Bourne film series guy. Those are my Bonds. I don't need some fancy, soft British guy. But Daniel Craig, who everybody says is a great Bond. I like Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig's probably great in anything. And if I were to check out some Bond movies, it would be Daniel Craig Bond movies because, like I say, I like Daniel Craig. But he's done. He's not going to be Bond anymore, so we need a new Bond. So here are the people. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 10 choices here for Bond, and I'll tell you who my favorite. Here are the finalists. Idris Elba, because, time for a black Bond. I got no problem with it. I don't care. Jean Page is this really good-looking black guy from some Netflix show. I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know what the show is. You know what the show. If you know the name Reggie Jean Page, you know what that is. Daniel Kaluuya. Kaluuya, great actor. This dude's great. This guy's, oh my God. He's really cool, but he ain't Bond. He doesn't look like, but he doesn't have the smoothness. I'm sorry, he doesn't. He doesn't have the smoothness of Bond. He's not handsome enough. Michael B. Jordan. These are all the black contestants to play James Bond, and then John Boyega from the Star Wars movies and some other things. All right, so I got to pick one from this column. This is easy. The one I picked from this column is Idris Elba. Idris Elba has Bond all over him. Idris Elba. If we're gonna have a black Bond, and I'm perfectly fine with it, I have no issue with that. Idris Elba would be the guy. Of these guys to choose from, Idris Elba should be the Bond. All right, now let's go to the white dude column. These are the white finalists to play Bond. Cillian Murphy. Okay, see, I'm a Peaky Blinders freak, and Cillian Murphy is the star of Peaky Blinders. He plays Tommy Shelby. He is awesome. He would make an awesome Bond. Tom Holland, Spider-Man. Too young. Get out of here. Chris Hemsworth, Thor. No, dude, you can't be Thor and Bond. I love you as Thor. You're too big for Bond. Bond can't be. No, go. Boom. Chris Hemsworth out. Michael Fassbender. I don't even know who this guy is. I just know his name. And Tom Hardy. Ooh. Okay, so from this column, I got to choose between Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy. God, I love Tom Hardy. I love Cillian Murphy. I love Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy. By the way, both Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy are in Peaky Blinders. Look at that. They act together in the TV show. But I'm going with, okay, so from column A, the black guys, I'm going with Idris Elba, and column B, the white guys, I'm going to go with Tom Hardy. These are the choices for the next Bond as is circulating online. I kind of want Idris Elba. I'm going to go with Idris Elba. All right, so he's my next Bond, Idris Elba. He would be so great. Satan is trending. Satan. This is a stupid story, and we're running out of time here. So, but I feel like, what? I'm going to save this stupid Satan story for Pillow Talk tonight. We'll come back. We'll talk about why Satan is trending today. We're just about out of time here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. Also, I'm not going to be able to do a very long version of our backstage that we typically do here today. I'm just going to run through it. So probably give you about 10 minutes or something like that. And then we'll do that. After we do the end of the actual content stream, which is what this would be, I then like to double back and I talk to people and we see everything that we've been, what I've missed, because I can't really pay attention to what's being mentioned in the chat room while I'm doing the show. Okay, we're still learning about the Oath Keeper leader. Okay. Here we go. Takes forever for this stuff to... I'm so hungry, too. You know what today is? Today's my fruit and vegetable day. What do you mean it's your fruit and vegetable day? It means that I didn't defrost any meat. So today I can only eat like vegetables and fruit and stuff because I forgot to defrost meat. And I can't spend any money till Saturday because I live a very strange existence. It works for me. I mean, I'm getting through. We're doing it. But today is probably going to be some broccoli, some corn, maybe an apple. We'll see.
To see me through the lonely nights, help me to be strong. I am like the dancing bear.
I do feel like I'm losing weight though. It's been 10 days, 13 days, and you can tell I don't weigh myself. What I do is I wear try on certain clothes, and I'm like, oh, this is a little tight. So then after like a week, I'll try it on, and I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't that tight. Like there is a shirt that, like this shirt in particular, is a shirt that I didn't like to wear because when I sat down, it was a little tight around the belly, a little bit tight. I used to have to undo one of the buttons down there. I don't have to do that now, so that's a good sign. That means my even though my running has been upended by an injury to my ankle suffered 1 week ago. But I did a walk yesterday. I walked 3 miles yesterday because I'm desperately afraid of twisting my ankle again. Oh my God, that is such a crazy pain.
Aim to be the best. I am on a never-ending quest.
Boom, 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 boom.
I can smile a little now. Things are going good.
Going good, going good.
Always had to be on guard.
All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom, and then we'll be back, and we'll do a little bit of behind-the-scenes talk. Be right back.
A journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.
All right, we are back. Let's go through the chat room. Let's see what you people were talking about here. I got a couple of them to jump out on. We started out with April letting me know first that I didn't have my microphone on. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. Byron also told me I didn't have my microphone on. Kevin Barber, he's the one that I saw, so he got credit for it. So thank you. Leslie saying, hi, Leslie. April McNair, I was talking about the plane that crashed into the Potomac River on this day back in the 80s when I was in boarding school. April says the Hudson plane landing anniversary is coming up on January the 15th. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll cover that here for sure. I imagine that'll be mentioned in trending topics, or certainly in this day in history. Sully. Remember, everybody loves Sully. Sully was an American hero. Fox News loves Sully. And then it was revealed that Sully was a Democrat. He ain't so great. I could have landed that plane. All right. Stop it. You people are crazy. JBM. Jennifer Blair Martin says that JLD as the snotty neighbor in Christmas Vacation. Yeah. Happy birthday, Julia Louis Dreyfus. April points out that Patrick Dempsey, whose birthday is today, he played, what did I call him? McMuffin? I don't know, McDocky. I don't know. He was McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. Or maybe not. I don't know. Now Leslie says Derek Shepherd. Oh, is that the character's name? Derek Shepherd. All right. A bunch of people jumping in to correct me. Did I say, what did I call Orlando Bloom and what's his face? Hugh Jackman. Did I call them both Aussie? I don't know. Whatever. They're from over there. They ain't from here. They ain't Americans. That's all I know. Happy birthday, Orlando Bloom. A little bit of talk about Lord of the Rings. We talked about that. April says Orlando Bloom has babies with Katy Perry and Miranda Kerr. Okay. Yeah, one of the Hemsworth, he was with Miley Cyrus. Leslie says God was smiling when he made the Hemsworth men. I guess. He must have been pretty pissed off on the day he made me. Speaking of Angelina Jolie and Asian movies, the Jolie produced First They Killed My Father is very good. Yeah, is it? Gotta be honest, nothing about that appeals to me. But I'm sure it's good. But you know what? I stand corrected because I recently watched again for the second time a movie that I didn't see for a year, even though a lot of people were like, "You got to see this movie. This movie is awesome." And then finally, I ended up watching it, and I'm like, "Oh, this movie's so great." And now I can't remember the name of it. Something about a super cool up and coming woman. I don't know what is that, but you know the movie I'm talking about, and girl, and it's about a girl who goes around trapping date rapists. Yeah, so good, and inspiring. Come on, someone in the chat room needs. If I can Google this before one of you people tell me what movie this is. So how an impressive woman. I'm gonna say maybe that'll film. Maybe that'll. Nope, that didn't come up. An irrepressible one. All right, console. Promising Young Woman. Thank you, Adam. See, I didn't have room in my brain for that. I recently rewatched Promising Young Woman, a movie that based on the title, I was like, I ain't gonna see that. I have no interest in seeing that. That looks boring. I have only so much time to dedicate to films, and I'm not gonna see that movie. I saw it, and it was awesome. The title is a misleading. The title is not like you think. A Promising Young Woman is about some Victorian era girl who's being married off to a man. That's what I thought. It sounded like some bullshit Jane Austen garbage, which isn't necessarily garbage. But if you're me, it's garbage. Garbage to me. That is, No, it wasn't. It was dark and violent and really cool. So I love that. Some comments on Glenn Beck. Jeff Glenn says that Madonna is the dog, the bounty hunter of pop. No idea what that means, but I endorse it. I like it. She's the one with the big toe thumbs. I saw this when it was happening. She's the one with the big toe thumbs. Is that about Megan Fox? What is going? What Megan Fox got big toe thumbs? I don't know what that means. I'm gonna Google it because maybe something fun will come up. Megan Fox. We'll just say toes. Holy crap! Toe thumbs comes up. What she's got? What has she got? She got freaky big toes. Is that something? Let me see. I'm not a foot fetishist, but boy, if I was. Oh, she does have weird big toes. Yeah, well, you know what? Megan Fox's big, weird toes is not a deal breaker for me. I'm sorry. I could overlook that. Let's see what else we got. Maybe want to barf. They made Megan and the Machine make Leslie McDaniel want to barf. It just makes me want to ram my head into a wall. Albert wonders, does Lenny Kravitz have a chance again with Lisa Bonet now that Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa have broken up? And I would say absolutely. He's Lenny Kravitz. He has a chance with anything at all times whenever he wants. So Lisa Bonet looks like she smells like scalp. Yes, she does. They both look like they smell maybe not bad, but odd. Like there's like an odd hippie smell to them, I would imagine. Jeff Glenn says that Momoa is definitely going to be going. He'll be getting younger at the position. Is basically what Jeff says. I don't know. Here's the thing about Jason Momoa, and people of his ilk. When you are that good looking, when you are that charming, when you are that confident, add on to the fact that you're a big movie star and you're successful, and you can essentially have the choice of any woman in the world that you are interested in, you tend to look for more than just a young, beautiful girl, because you can get any young, beautiful. That's not interesting to you. That's probably one of the reasons why he fell for Lisa Bonet, who is a beautiful woman, but is certainly much older than he is. And he can have anybody he wants. So he's probably the type of guy who looks for something more. It was somebody said that about John Lennon when they used to say that, well, what is John Lennon doing with Yoko Ono? And I don't remember who it was attributed to, but somebody said John Lennon can have any woman in the world that he wants. And he fell in love with somebody for reasons other than just the artificial. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. If you can have anybody you want because you're so in demand, you're going to start requiring things to be a little bit deeper, to be a little bit more, which is probably a good thing. And I think Jason Momoa is probably in that. He's Aquaman, for crying out loud. I'm not saying what he did is okay, but why is his age of consent different in certain states? Should be 18 throughout the United States. That's Adam talking about, I assume, Prince Andrew. He used to be married to Pam from The Office, James Gunn. Yeah, he was married to her. That's the reason. It's a funny story. I don't know if it's funny. Interesting story. Rainn Wilson did a James Gunn superhero film, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, called Super. And James Gunn didn't want to cast Rainn Wilson in this role. But Pam Beesly, who he was married to, Jenna Fisher, she was like, come on, do it. And so that's how Rainn Wilson ended up starring in a James Gunn film as a superhero. I believe the movie was called Super. And it was a bomb because nobody wants to see Rainn Wilson as a superhero. Now a bunch of people sticking up for Raising Cane's. I'm not saying their food isn't good. I'm just saying I wouldn't have in the early part of the startup. I would not. How did that pitch go? Again, what a weird pitch. We're just going to do a kids menu. It's just going to be, so you're going to have like mac and cheese and potato skins and stuff. No, just one item off the kids menu. That's what I don't get about Raising Cane's. I don't get it. Although, oddly enough, I do make a distinction between a place like Raising Cane's and all of these hot Nashville chicken spots that are jumping up, because those places are basically just chicken fingers too, but it's different. They're so good. They're so good and they're hot and oh God. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with Nashville hot chicken varieties now. I love it. Okay, what else do we have here? You and me, Leslie. Leslie don't think Raising Cane's is special either. Me neither. It's just, yeah, whatever. The only place that has, she says she didn't like their fries either. The only thing that is good about French fries, fast food French fries, is McDonald's. Once you've had McDonald's French fries, every other fast food French fry place is going to disappoint. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic McDonald's uses. Oh, Pugs going out on a limb talking about how great McDonald's French fries are. Look, I know it's been said for decades and decades, but man, if you can get McDonald's French fries straight from the fryer, when you get, like, how disappointing is it when you get McDonald's and you reach into the bag and you're like, oh, these fries are like old. They're not like soup. But when you reach in there and you burn your fingers on them, you hit the French fry jackpot. Nope. Sorry, Leslie. Disagree with you. Don't like French fries from Jack in the Box. Don't like curly fries. Byron Granger says, Kane started in college towns. They're the perfect demo. Then it spread from there. Well, you know what? That's where my cereal restaurant is going to start, where we just serve cereal. I'm not going to talk to you people about my cereal restaurant anymore. It is a genius idea. We're going to launch it on college campuses. We're going to let kids do their homework there. We're going to have TVs all around the place. All the TVs will show nothing but cartoons. You'll be able to go down a buffet line and fill up. Think of frozen yogurt, the way you're able to mix and match. Think of that with different kinds of cereal. You weigh it, you pay for it, you go, you sit down, no chairs, shag carpetings, little tables. You get beanbag chairs maybe. You can do your homework. You can eat a big bowl of cereal cereal. Maybe you want some Cocoa Pebbles. Maybe you want some peanut butter, some Captain Crunch mixed in with the Cocoa Pebbles. You do it. You make it yourself. Concoctions. We're going to have all kinds of... I can't keep talking about my cereal restaurant. Will somebody with money say, here's $10 million, make it so? I don't even know if I need $10 million. I've also already got my location. My first location is going right here on Mockingbird at SMU, right near where the bookstore is there. My first location is going on the campus of Southern Methodist University. I just need to come up with a name. I don't have a name for it yet. Kooky Puffs. I don't know. But again, we're trying to infantilize college students. Take them back to the days when they would sit in their living room with a big bowl of cereal, watching cartoons with their homework right there next to them. That's what we're going for. No, Leslie, I have done serious research. The cereal concept does exist in certain... However, I invented it first, years before the New York Times Square one, and it bombed. It went out of business because they were stupid. They were stupid. They just went, it's a restaurant where all you get is cereal. Yeah, what else? Where are the bells and whistles? Where is the attraction? Who is the audience for this? No tourist coming to New York City in Times Square is going to go eat cereal. You stupid, stupid people. That's right. That's right, Jeff. I'm feeding. Jeff says, Leslie, Pugs isn't going the granola route. He's feeding college kids Sugar Smacks. That's right. And maybe a donut. Well, maybe we'll have donuts because I'm not going to be like Raising Cane's where it's just like one item. You can get a donut. Different kinds of milk, banana milk, chocolate milk, strawberry milk. Leslie, I almost went to New York a couple of years ago with a friend of mine who was interested in this. And yeah, well, he's dead. Bruce, my buddy Bruce. He was like, yeah, well, there's this place in New York City, blah, blah, blah. It's in Times Square. We need to go. It's kind of like the cereal restaurant. And we didn't go. Because we found out that it was absolutely nothing like what our concept was. Their concept was just stupid and it bombed. My concept is on college campuses. We have defined exactly who our target demo is and how we are going to infantilize them. This is a brilliant idea. That New York thing was just some rich kid who had money and a stupid idea. That was a stupid idea, kid. Get me started. I know all about it. There was also a place, I believe, in the Colony off of 121 years ago that was kind of doing something similar. But it bombed again. It bombed again because nobody had the vision. I've got all of these visions. All I need is a rich person. I think I saw a cereal shop being peddled on Shark Tank. I just probably because it's a pretty good idea, and I've been talking about it on radio for 20 some years now. I don't know what it's called. Cereal bar, cereal. I don't know. You guys got any ideas on what we can call it? I'm all ears. I'll kick you in for like a percentage, maybe half a percentage. I don't know how this works. Have to talk to the money guy once I get a money guy involved, how much that's worth. But you come up with no, serial killers is stupid. That is and it's to think deeper, Jeff. You're better than that. I don't know, what else could it be? Cereal bar, cereal. I don't know. All right, I'm done. Where was it? I wanted to make one more. Leslie tried to scoreboard me on the proper pronunciation of Cillian Murphy, even though she says it's Killian, and maybe that's the way some people pronounce it. But me being 100% Irish and knowing a number of Cillians in real life, they ought to pronounce it. At least the one I know pronounces it Cillian, not Killian. There is a Killian. Killian is an Irish name. It's typically a feminine name, and it's spelled with a K, and it's K. Well, Killian's beer, right? But the C, at least the one that I know, at least the 100% Irish kid that I know whose name is Cillian pronounces it Cillian. Cillian. But I mean, that's not to say you're not right. That's not to say that Cillian Murphy doesn't pronounce it Cillian Murphy. I pronounce it Cillian just because I'm used to someone who has that name who pronounces it Cillian. Let's see here. Come on, Jeff. You don't just come up with serial killers and then walk away from it like you didn't say it. You got to have something to back it up. Is there anything else? You got another one? Cereal. I don't know. All right, guys. I think we're going to do it. We're going to do it to it. I got to get out of here. I got stuff I got to handle today. I got a couple of phone calls, business calls, that kind of thing I got to do. God, I'm trying to, oh, God. I got troubles. I got, not troubles. I got pressures. I got stresses. Who doesn't, right? So I got to go handle that. Spotify might drop Joe Rogan. All right. Then nothing will come with that. Dudes, I don't know. I just offer that to you. So what? So we'll go to YouTube. It'll go back to being, whatever the hell it was before. How about you, my beautiful Midwestern princess? You have a great afternoon too, Leslie. Thank you. Genius takes time, Jeff. Yes, it does. Yes, it was. I know you weren't trying to scoreboard me. My reaction has to be in some way entertaining. So, all right, that's all. We'll see you tonight for Pillow Talk, okay? For Pugs and Parker on Pillow Talk tonight at 9:00 Central Time. And if you can't make that, that's fine. But I do appreciate you guys showing up here for the high noon show that we do each and every day. Again, support the show by clicking like, by sharing, by subscribing. If it's in your means, we take donations to keep this show going. I appreciate that. And all right, you guys have a good one. We love you. We miss you. We'll see you. We'll see you again later tonight. Bye, all.